He's still seeking answers about the USS Bonhomme Richard fire and the potential impact it's had on public health. And now one group is exploring possible legal action. Joining us now to talk about that, former City Councilman David Alvarez. And David, welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Good to be here.
So, yeah, great to see you again. And let's talk about that, the impact that this ship fire had. Let's start off with that.
Absolutely. So, it started on Sunday as a 5-day incident. Started on Sunday. Really, it was depending on where you were, whether you were in National City or in the Barrio Logan Heights community, you got that smoke smell. And I live in the Barrio Logan Heights community, and it wasn't actually till Monday for me that I noticed it in the morning when I went out. And not only did I notice it, I then stepped out onto the sidewalk, and I actually, here in this community, we can see the skyline of downtown. And it was hazy, and it wasn't a hazy day. It wasn't a cloudy day. And so that's when I really knew that it was serious in the community. And then information started to flow. And so I think the biggest concern for the resident group, this community advocate group that is coming together, is we'd like to find a way so that if an incident like this ever happens again, and God forbid that it does, hopefully it never does, but if it does, that the residents in the community around the naval base are treated just as equally as those who were within the naval base and were told on day one to lock down and to evacuate, because it was that serious of a threat. That communication never occurred and never went out to the general public in the community. And so we're concerned about that as a long-term potential impact. So we'd like to install some sort of protocol, real communication, in case something like this ever were to happen again. That's really the goal from the community standpoint. Also, a legal component. And individuals that were harmed or felt like they were harmed can seek those legal options, and we're supporting that as well. But really, like I said, the main concern is how do we make sure that this damage and the impact to the community doesn't go beyond a really scary incident. In fact, probably some smoke inhalation problems that probably occurred as a result of this incident.
Well, I understand, and the group, we should say again, it's called the Navy Shipfire Community Advocates. That's what you're calling yourselves, and you put out a press release related to this. And from what I read, aside from prevention so it doesn't happen again, you are right now talking about the possibility of legal action and looking for people that have been victims of this last fire.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. We heard stories from families who just couldn't breathe. The elders, children with headaches, 4 and 5-year-olds. That's not something you typically hear from children. The elders who just had difficulty breathing. You might recall, I think you reported on the vouchers for the hotels that were made available. There was only 400 of those vouchers made available. They were exhausted. That tells you the level of real impact that it was having on the residents in the community that wanted to get away. Some who were lucky enough were able to. The rest of us in the 90-degree weather had to shut our windows and our doors and not go outside on a really, really hot day during the first and second day. And so those are the types of impacts that occurred, and respiratory impacts. We already know that the level of air quality in these communities is pretty bad. The readings that were produced following the fire and the fumes show that there was elevated levels of contamination in the air. And so all those things have an impact with people.
What do you want those who think that they may have had some health issues related to this to do?
Yes, on a one-on-one confidential basis, there are attorneys that are available for individuals to have that conversation and to talk about what the impacts were to them, and we invite them to do so by finding us.
All right. Thank you so much. David Alvarez, former City Councilman. Great to talk to you again.
It's great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.